fish and he brought it in. So make sure you're holding on tight. With that in mind, we're here in our first stop. This is a little Laturi forest home to some animals who are pretty good at hiding. You can see one of them is hiding kind of on the right side on the hill. As we move up, it's going to be towards the right of the hill. You can see its zebra pants sticking out. That is the okapi. Now the okapi, its zebra pants, make people believe that it's related to the zebra, but it's actually the closest only living relative to the giraffe. That's because of its skull shape, as well as a prehensile tongue that they are going to use to grab their food with. Prehensile means it's able to grab onto something, get a good grip on it. It kind of works like an extra hand, extra set of fingers. They're going to use it to grab their food, so it doesn't fall out right as they're about to take a bite. But the okapi likes to use its stripes to help blend into their surroundings. Any of the tree branches, any of the bamboo, a lot of the animals, including these black rhinos here to the left, they're going to use camouflage as a mechanism of defense. Now the two black rhinos you see here to the left, they are one of the two species of rhinos that live on the reserve. There are the smaller kind, they only get to about 3,000 pounds, but they're pretty solitary animals. They kind of just like hang out by themselves in their own personal space. Don't worry, they don't get lonely, that's just how they live. Now across the way on the right hand side, you're going to see two different kinds of antelope. First is going to be the bongo, that copper colored antelope towards the top, joined by the greater kudu. It's going to be those more grayer ones, a little bit larger. But you can see they do have stripes on their bodies just like the okapi, so they're also going to use them to blend in. And the greater kudu that you see there, you'll notice they don't have any horns on their head. That's how we know that all three of them are actually all going to be female. Because when it comes to the greater kudu, only males will have those horns. They do get pretty big, so they're a little hard to meet. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to make our way over to the other side of the woods. We're going to make our way into the Safi River. Now over in the Safi River, this is where you might find a couple of those animals who like to hang out near the water. Just like you and I like to do. They like to go for a swim to cool off. Just keep your eyes out for anyone that's down here. They might also be on the bank. It is kind of raining a little bit. It looks like we've already found a couple. Now, it's a bit of a blind spot for us, but there's some hippos down to the bottom right. Hopefully we'll see the rest of the blow up ahead on the left-hand side. They do like to hang out near an island on the left. But they are joined by the pink-backed pelicans. Now the pink-backed pelicans are going to get their name from this pink color that's under their wings and on their backs. Kind of works like a blush, so it's going to get a lot brighter as they approach their mating season. They are currently not in their mating season, that's why it's not too bright. But we're going to move right up here. Looks like those hippos are in one of their favorite spots. You can see them right behind the island to the left. These are the Nile hippopotamus.
See the hippos in the water? See the hippos in the water?
And they like to spend their time just like that, submerged in the water. That's how they're going to keep themselves cool. Now they also like to hang out towards the bottom of the river. It's a lot easier for them. They do get up to around 5,500 pounds. So to move around, they're going to walk along the bottom. They're able to do that because they can hold their breath for a pretty long time. It's just a natural instinct for them to push themselves up to the top, grab a breath of fresh air, and then sink right back down. But you guys, if you don't see them over there, you might see them up here by their favorite waterfall. It looks like they were all hanging out back there, but they sometimes like to hang out over by those rocks. I assume it's a lot cooler over there with the waterfall. But it looks like we're also going to take a look at some of their neighbors down below us. Over on the rocks and in the water, we're going to see a couple of Nile crocodiles here. Now these crocodiles are going to get to about 16 feet in length. So the very end of their tail to the tip of their mouth. Now speaking of their mouth, they do like to hang out there with those mouths wide open. That's one of the ways they're going to keep themselves cool. You and I, when we get overheated, we will sweat out any extra body heat. And these crocodiles here, they don't have any sweat glands. So instead, they're going to open their mouths, use it kind of like an air vent, and just release all of that extra body heat that way. But turning the corner, there's also a baobab tree over to the right. That means we're changing ecosystems. So we're going to make our way down into the largest one here on the reserve. It's going to be the savanna. You guys might recognize a lot more animals out here. But those baobab trees that you see there, we're going to see a couple more of them throughout the savannah. They're very important to the animals because they hold tons and tons of water in their bodies. So they are able to survive all year long. Also used as another water source by the animals. That's why they do get the nickname Tree of Life. Also the upside down tree. Their branches look a little bit like their roots are coming out from the top. But we're going to go ahead, we're making our way down into the grasslands of the savannah first. No worries if you don't see every single animal right away, because we have a lot of ground to cover. This is just a small fraction of the savannah that you're seeing. It looks like you can already see a couple of our taller friends trimming the branches for the animals. Now the giraffes we'll see here, they are the Maasai giraffes. We're going to try and get a little bit closer to them. Hopefully they stay in the same spot. But they're going to get to about 18 to 20 feet tall. That's why we're going to call this group here standing together a tower. And sometimes they get very ambitious. They want the extra tall branches. So you'll see them sometimes kind of reach all the way up and stick their tongue out. Just like the okapi, they're going to have that prehensile tongue. It's going to help them grab their food. And they do need a lot of extra food. They spend a lot of time eating. They have a very fast metabolism. Looks like we're going to see 3 of them up here on the left-hand side. Now it actually looks like there's 4. There's one kind of back here in this corner. But these shrubs, kind of hiding in the bushes, they spend about 20 hours of their day eating. Only need a total of about 30 minutes of sleep every day. They are very good at taking those power naps, though. They'll sleep in about 2 to 3 minute increments. Now this one over to the left, and then this one that we're going to see right up here, they were just using their tongue. Hopefully they'll keep doing it as we move up closer. But it kind of works like a hand. It just grabs onto the branches and pulls it down so that they can enjoy some food. You can kind of see it there. It's about 18 inches long, so it definitely gives them that extra height. Oh, it looks like, oh, I thought she had an edge. Oh, she does have an edge. Using that branch as a scratching piece. Now we're going to move right in here. Looks like we're also going to get pretty close to this one over on the left-hand side. There's that one over on the right as well. And you can see their spots a little bit better. You'll notice they have more of a square-shaped spot. Has more of a jagged edge, kind of look like puzzle pieces fitting into one another. That's a good way to identify them. They are a subspecies of zebra. The Maasai giraffes will have those square spots, a little bit smaller as well.
Push the white button.
Now we'll see over on this one up here to the left. But as we pass this drop up here over on the right side, we're going to see 2 different kinds of animals. Of course, you'll recognize one of them as a zebra. They are the Hartman Mountain zebras, also a subspecies of their kind. So like the giraffes, a good way to identify them is that physical characteristic. In this case, it's going to be that white belly, because their stripes don't go all the way around their body.
Let me see.
Oh my god.
This one might be falling asleep. They do sleep in about 2 to 3 minute increments, because they only need about 30 minutes of sleep.
Just hanging out.
But we're going to move up just a little bit. You'll be able to see that white belly a little bit better. These Hartman Mountain zebras, they also have what looks like a little bump under their neck. It's actually an extra pouch of skin called a dewlap. And a dewlap's going to help them release extra body heat. They are the only species of zebra to have it. Not the only animal to have a dewlap, but when it comes to the zebras, they are the only ones to have it. Now, of course, they're joined by a couple of wildebeest here. You can see these wildebeest, they have some pretty long faces, and so their eyes, they kind of sit towards the top and the side of their heads. It's going to give them a pretty wide view. Oh, there's also some springbok at the top. Those adorable little s'mores up there. But these wildebeest, they have kind of like a tunnel vision, so it gets a little blurry after a distance, and so they hang out pretty close together. They rely on their scent glands by their hooves, so sometimes when they're walking, you'll just see them walk in a straight line. Also recognized by the shape of their horns. They're kind of like sideways L's. Oh, there's one more in the bush. Now we're going to head over. Oh, there's also an eland back there. It's kind of hiding in the bushes. That's the largest antelope on the reserve. They're also going to have the dewlap. Theirs is a lot larger, though, so a lot more noticeable. But we're going to head on over to the other side of the hill. We're going to take a little detour, though. We're going to make our way through elephant country. Now we're going to see who we can find. Oh, the cute wildebeest crossing the road. See, they're kind of walking in a straight line. But it looks like we are going to see someone here on this side. We'll then head on over to the other side, try and find a couple more. Now you'll be able to see it from this side. We're actually going to move up just a little bit further. And we're going to head over towards this opening where you guys can actually see it a little bit closer. But this is the African elephant. Coincidentally enough, they do have ears that resemble the shape of the continent of Africa. And like you can see this one doing, they like to flap those ears back and forth. So they're going to keep themselves cool. Now we're actually going to keep moving. We're going to move right up here. Try and get a closer look at it. Now we might have to turn our heads a little bit so we can look at the back right. But this is one of the larger male sets out here. Oh, it looks like he's a lot further than we thought. Oh, he's kind of hiding right there. Oh, he started walking. Okay, well. We'll just head over to the other side, try and find a couple more. But we know it's a male because he is hanging out all by himself. He is also a lot larger than most. And males get up to around 13 feet. But males, they like to hang out by themselves starting at about 13 to 15 years old. That's when they go off and they try and find a potential mate to start their own family. Occasionally they'll form what we call a bachelor herd, where they basically work as each other's wingman. They're going to help each other find a potential mate. But on the other hand, female elephants, they like to hang out in their family herds, taking care of one another, taking care of the younger ones as well. So hopefully we see one of the two herds over here on this side.
Right, thank you. Yeah.
Now, as we head on over here, it looks like we've also found a couple of red clay pits. This red clay is pretty important to the elephants. They like to use it like a daily vitamin. So over to the right, you can see they like to run those tusks through it. They also like to eat the clay.
I see through bags, so
But they're also going to throw that red clay all over their backs. It kind of works like a sunscreen or a moisturizer too. Because elephants, they have very sensitive skin. They want to make sure it is nice and protected. And so they're going to throw that red clay, they're going to throw mud, dirt, maybe even some grass that's nearby. So you can kind of see this one here as we move up. It might be covered a little bit. Hopefully we do get a better angle up. Now they're keeping cool, flapping those ears. They also do like to use those ears to listen to their surroundings. They actually have incredibly good listening. Elephants can hear each other from around 6 miles away. Head a little bit closer. We're going to head on over towards elephant waters as well. Try and find a couple more of them. We might actually be able to see them a little bit better through elephant waters. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to make our way down here. Now these elephants, they have some pretty cool tusks. They don't just use them to run through that red clay. They're using poke holes into those baobab trees to get their water. Bark is kind of like a spongy material. But unfortunately, these elephants, they are poached for those tusks. They are made of ivory. That's just something to keep an eye out for. It is used a lot in jewelry. We want to make sure we are not buying anything that promotes harming those animals. We're kind of doing our part at keeping them safe.
Okay.
Now you can see her here. Once we move over to the other side of the flamingos, you might be able to see her a little bit better.
Okay.
But these are the greater flamingos. They're not as pink as other kinds, but they're still going to get their pink color from the brine shrimp. If you see a couple of very fluffy, very gray flamingos, those are actually a couple of younger ones I hatched about a couple weeks ago. They're already so big. See, there's 3 of them out here. But they are born completely gray. They're going to stay like that for a long time because it does take flamingos a pretty long time for them to reach that color. As they consume more and more shrimp, they're going to turn more and more pink. So you guys can come back in a couple months, maybe even a year. They're still probably going to be gray. But we're going to head on over to this side of the savannah now. We're going to check this little window here to the left, see if maybe we can find one more elephant. I think they it might just be hiding off somewhere. It's always a good spot to keep an eye out for. We're gonna see who we can find here. Now there's a mud wallow over to the left. That mud wallow is a good sign that some rhinos might be nearby. Just like elephants, rhinos also use mud to protect their skin. And we are looking for the second kind of rhino. It's gonna be the white rhinos. Larger kind, a lot more social with one another. Oh, we found one over to the right. Chances are if this one's here, there might be at least one more somewhere around here. Now you can see the shape of their mouth. It's kind of like a square wide shape. That's actually how they're going to get their name. It comes from the word bite, meaning wide, referring to that mouth. But we're going to see if we can find the rest of the crash. I'm guessing because it started walking from that other side. It's probably all the way over there. So we're going to head over. But as we do, down to the bottom left of this hill, you also see some of the spotted animals here. The fastest land animal in the world, taking a nice little nap by the tree. There are some cheetahs there. I will see if there's a couple more up here, but you can see those by the bottom left by the tree. They just, it looks like they just took a seat, so probably about to take a nap. Oh, there is one more up here. Now luckily it's not too sunny out, because when the sun's out it's a game of hide and seek with them. They went right into the ground. But there's one right up here towards the top right of the yard, kind of in the bushes, finding some shelter from the rain. And they're the fastest land animal in the world. They're going to run about 60 miles an hour. Oh, there's two of them. Going to reach that speed in just 3 seconds after they take off running. So they are very good at running. They are sprinters more than marathon runners, so they only run a couple of yards before they get pretty tired out. But we're going to see if we can find a different wildcat. Oh, it looks like he is at the very top of the copie. See a lion up there. Now we'll be able to see him as we head all throughout the copie, all around the copie. It looks like he's enjoying the cool rain. Now this is the middle of the night for him. They are nocturnal animals. So they're going to be more active when it's dark out. We should be able to see his face as we head over to the other side. Hopefully see the female lion as well. She does hide a lot more than he does, so she might be kind of in the lower parts of the copie. Or she might be up there on the rocks with them. Sometimes they both like to go up there. Oh, and you can see the rest of the rhinos, or at least one more, over to the right. I think the rest of them might be hiding in the bushes. But we're going to head up this way. I think it might just be him up here. He's just getting his beauty rest in. But it's not too hot out for him. He does have that very big mane. Nothing but hair. We're going to see who else is hiding over here. Oh, it looks like a couple of warthogs are out. They're going to be down to the bottom right, kind of near the rocks. They are one of the largest burrowers in Africa. Now you can kind of see that they have these little tusks coming out of their snouts. They have two sets of them. They're used for digging, they're used for defense. So while they are in their burrows, they like to back in. Make sure the tusks are the first thing anyone grabs when trying to reach in for them. Oh, and we found some ostrich as well. Ostrich are the largest birds in the world. These three here, though, I know they're really wet from the rain, but they have this light gray colored feather, and that's how we know that all three of them are female. Males usually have a really dark black feather. Tend to be a little bit larger as well. I guess they don't really mind the rain too much. And you'll also see a couple of ostrich eggs across the way on the right hand side. They're probably just watching us. See, those eggs are also very big. Makes sense because we all see how large that bird was, and it wasn't even standing. They get to about 7 to 9 feet tall. We're going to go ahead, we're going to make our way out of the savannah. We're going to head on into Magadi Glen. Now Magadi Glen, it is the closest to civilization that animals are going to live by. It's home to the Warden's Post. Now watching over the warden's post stay. I know the Nigerian dwarf goats like to be on the job, but they do not like the rain, so they might be finding some shelter under the post, maybe even in the truck. They do like to hang out in the bed of the truck. Looks like we found them. Now they're one of the other domesticated animals. They're also what we call ruminants. That means they have 4 chambers in their stomachs. You see that in a lot of farm animals. Now it's just going to help them digest plants and weeds that other animals have trouble digesting. So these goats here, they don't just provide the warden with milk to make dairy products. They're going to provide the warden with free lawn care. They're going to get rid of the pesky weeds, make sure the grass is nice and short. And in return, goats are going to get food, they're going to get shelter. They're going to get taken care of by the warden. That's a win-win situation, a good example of how animals and humans, they are able to coexist in an environment. They are going to benefit from one another, similar to how we benefit from a lot of the animals out here. That might not be directly from them, like the goats and the warden, but it is still up to us to help these animals out as much as we can. Because they do face some kind of threat. They are on the endangered species list. Doing the small things, something as simple as recycling, it's going to go a long way to help them out. Even just by taking time out of your day to come and see them and learn about them, that's helping them a great deal as well. But you guys are able to see animals all across the park, including here in Harambe. We have the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. I'm actually going to drop you off where I picked you up. And once you head down the exit ramp, if you continue to the left, you will already be in that walking trail. You'll see some familiar faces like more okapi, more hippos, maybe some new faces. They have a different species of zebra out there. Known as the Grevy's zebras. They're hanging out with the meerkat. So you guys can see a lot more animals out there. There's